Well, good afternoon, good early afternoon from Melbourne, Australia. Just jumping on to talk about language matters, how much our language really does matter. I was just leading or facilitating something for a leader just the last couple of hours. And I retold a story about how important our language is. How we communicate with other people will reflect love, but that we've also got to be careful about how we communicate, because some of the things that we are hearing, the way that we might choose to communicate something, might not be received as a compliment or in the way that it was actually meant. And it can get very confusing for the person that is receiving a prophetic encouragement or just hearing from us in general. Our language really does matter. And I think that it's important when we're functioning in the prophetic gift that we understand that we are representing God to others. We are an ambassador for Christ. We are someone who is saying we are a spokesperson on behalf of the kingdom of heaven. Who is God? What is God? God is love. So the way that we communicate, whether we're saying that we're actually speaking on behalf of God, we're communicating through a prophetic unction or not, it should always reflect love, especially when we are communicating insights that we claim to be words from God. So understanding how the recipient is going to be able to receive the encouragement is also important. Cultural differences are important. Family of origin differences is important as well. For example, God is love, and the way that he speaks is always filled with loving kindness. It might be directional in nature. It might be corrective in nature. It might even be strategic in nature, but it will also always communicate love. There will always be a redemptive element to a prophetic word, or even to the delivery of a word of knowledge, or how we are functioning in any of our other gifts, the gifts of discernment, and even the gift of healing. So if what you communicate on behalf of God is not loving, and it's communicated and if it's communicated in a way that the recipient can't receive it, then you are actually failing your job as a spokesperson on behalf of the kingdom of heaven. We need to learn how it is that we can do these sorts of things better. And I've got a terrific story to communicate this, to give you an understanding of all of this. But it's really important that if what we're communicating, if it's not encouraging, comforting, and strengthening, which is what we find articulated in 1 Corinthians 14:3, that prophecy is always encouraging, comforting, and strengthening, then we need to take it back to God for further examination and articulation, and even refinement. When I was working as a lawyer, I always found that it was very important for me to not try to maintain the ivory tower concept of that a lot of lawyers are received in. You know, there is an element of the ivory tower, that you're above community because you've got this qualification that people perceive as being, you know, extra hard and intellectual and things like that. I always felt it was really important for me to learn how to articulate the truths, or that I found in the legislation, the truths around our legal system, in a way that my client could understand what it was that was happening to them, to their life. You know, I was communicating legal truths and legal frameworks to them in such a way that they could understand it, so they could make an informed decision about their life, their legal work that they were paying me to do. It was so important. And exactly, Sandy, that is actually one of the scriptures that I've actually quoted in this. If I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but I do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. That is unpleasant. If anyone, I'm a musician also, and I've been in symphonic orchestras, and to get near those percussion players with those cymbals, or with the gongs, I can tell you they're loud. They're loud, and it's jarring. It's jarring to receive that sort of thing. We do not want to be people that come with a jarring sound. We want the sound of love to be resonating through everything it is that we are doing. You know, we can make decisions about how we show up. Obviously, love is a person, and if he's within us, hopefully he is shining through us as well. But I want to share a story. It's a beautiful friend whom I really love. That's based in the United States, and it wasn't a prophetic word. It was just an encouragement to me. She said to me, Beth, everything that you do is over the top. Now, I found out later in America that over the top means that you do everything with excellence. And I thought, oh, you know, when I found out the truth of what it meant, I went, oh gosh, that's a really beautiful compliment. But in Australia, if you're told that you're over the top, it's actually an insult. Being over the top suggests that you are too much. You try too hard, that you're a bit of a pain. It's uncomfortable to be around you because you are over the top. There's too much of you. Calm it down, tone it down. You're too much. You're over the top. In America, I was told later, because I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, and I was so hurt. I was so hurt. I didn't understand what she was trying to tell me. It was a form of encouragement because she loved me. But I actually found out that but in my world, it wasn't. In my world, it was offensive. It was something that you just didn't want to be. You had to just quieten yourself down. You're too much. And this is right in the middle of when I was being called by God to emerge, and I just wanted to shrink back. I was nearly broke down in tears as I received this. It was like a slap in the face. I didn't receive it the way that she meant it. Why was that? It's because my language and her language didn't meet. Like we were like ships passing in the night. I didn't understand it. She actually shared, a friend of mine later on told me that that's actually a compliment. And I went, oh gosh, I didn't know. But what then happened was that, again, she said, oh my gosh, you're over the top. And she said it publicly, beautifully. She was trying to encourage me in a Facebook post. And I had to privately say to her, hey, like, I know you mean it really well. It still hurt because culturally it was just, you're too much. You're too much. And I still felt the sting, even though it wasn't the intention that she was communicating it with. She was trying to tell me, good job. Everything you're doing is you do with excellence. You know, she was saying basically, I love you. I love what you're doing. But for me, in all my Aussiedom, I couldn't receive it that way. It just hurts. So I just privately, I said, hey, I hope you don't mind. I just want to let you know that in Australia, this is what that means. And she was appalled. She said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me know. And I learned very, very quickly that it's so important that our language meets the heart of the one that is communicating, that you are trying to communicate to. If you want to have your prophetic insights received with favor, if you want to have your revelation received, your words of encouragement, supposed encouragement, or even words of correction received. Now, I mean, if you're not a prophet, you shouldn't be correcting. And even if you're a prophet, you should be correcting with love and with solutions. So, because God is a God of restoration. So it's so important that we communicate those words with love in a way that, you know, that the receiver is feeling loved as well. The prophetic gift is a beautiful gift. But if it's utilized to hurt another, then that's an abuse. That's an abuse of that gift, and it's misrepresenting who God is. And I would suggest that you're utilizing that gift on behalf of someone else, something else, and we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be doing the enemy's work. So we read Jesus's word in John 13:35. A new command I give you: love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. What is the greatest? What is the greatest witness that we are his disciples? Is that we love well. Is that we're encouraging, comforting, and strengthening. We're kind. God is kind. He is a kind God. He is a loving God. And of course, it says that I've already quoted this 1 Corinthians 14:3, but the one who prophesies speaks to people for their strengthening, encouraging, and comfort. If it's not strengthening, encouraging, and comforting, don't give it. Hold it. If it doesn't resonate with love, hold it. And of course, we don't want to be a clanging cymbal, which is what we're told. If we speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. 1 Corinthians 13:1. That includes the mystical element as well. If mystics, if you see in a very mystical nature, we need to learn how to ground our words so that people who are receiving it can receive it the way that it's actually being communicated, that they can understand what it is that's being said. We do not want to create ivory towers in the kingdom of heaven. There are no ivory towers. We're not to occupy them. Lawyers shouldn't occupy them either, I would suggest. But in particular, in the kingdom of heaven, there should be no ivory towers. There should be the resonance of love. Even Jesus said to his disciples at one stage, there's so much more that I could share with you, but you're not ready. You couldn't bear it. So he literally held what it was that he wanted to share with them. It's because he knew that they weren't ready to hear it. Sometimes people aren't ready to hear what it is that we know about them or about a situation. Sometimes we need to take it back into the prayer closet and release it back to God. Even our prayers, our prophetic prayers, should be absolutely ensconced with love as well. Everything that we should do should be permeated with the fragrance of love, because that is who God is, and it's who we are claiming to represent when we are articulating revelatory truths that we've gleaned in the secret place, or even when we're prophesying over one another, whether it's in public or in private. Always loving. Even correction comes. I mean, when God has corrected me, it's always come as a big fat sloppy kiss half the time, and it's like, oh gosh, that actually would hurt, except for the fact that I could feel your love. And so maybe at some stage I need to come on and share some of my testimonies about when he has corrected me, but then, and when I've felt his heartbreak, when I haven't stopped for the one that he's wanted me to stop for, but I've simultaneously felt his love. It's so important to know that God is love. And when we claim to be representing him, then we need to be representing him as someone who is full of love. So I hope that encouragement has helped you. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. This is some of the stuff that I train. I help people learn how to articulate the revelatory truths that they're getting, especially those that are in the gift of discernment. We often will pick up all of the icky stuff, and it's like, I'm picking up this and picking up that. And it's like, we don't. A prophetic insight or a discernment, that is not the prophetic word. We have to actually say, what God do you want me to communicate? That what do I do with what I'm discerning? What do I do with what I'm seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, seeing, feeling? I think I said feeling. So this is all the material that I teach. So come join me in Prophetic Mastery. It's where we literally learn how to be masters in the prophetic. And I will mentor you in ways to glean keys of kingdom, keys of kingdom, hopefully, but also keys of wisdom, skills to communicate truths of revelation in a way that will be received by those around you. I'll help you identify your times and your seasons, and I'll help you learn how to process those prophetic words and cause prophetic acceleration in your prophetic timeline. It's all about learning how to develop your revelatory gift and ability, but doing that in a safe environment where you can fall flat on your face and we'll go, oh my gosh, look at how much you've learned. Get up, keep going. You're amazing. It's going to be okay. Don't worry. Just give it another shot, because that's what we do is we learn how to walk, and then we learn how to run, and then we learn how to jump and dance and do all of those things. We are a community that is really seriously focused on kingdom. However, we have a lot of fun and there's a lot of love. So come join us. Our doors are open until the 25th of November, and then we'll be shutting it Won't be opening it again until 2025. I mean, I don't know when at this stage. We're having a chat about it, but it's all got to do with with capacity and things like that. So come join us. I'd love for you to join us. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you again perhaps tomorrow. Lots of love. Catch you soon. Bye for now.